Today, he stars in blockbusters that earn hundreds of millions at the box office. He hosts prolific award shows, and he's as universally recognizable as Batman and Santa Claus. Kids, teens, and adults alike will attest to his 1 in a trillion cool factor that facilitates this otherworldly success. And yet, he's that very same guy that used to execute pretty outdated babyface offense before disinterested crowds back in 1997. And yes, that was Rocky Maivia and not The Rock, but come on, what are the odds that such a basic, blandly presented wrestler at the time would one day become the modern day king of all media and multimedia as well? Well, if you're Dwayne Johnson, the undisputed people's champion, those odds would seem to be in your favor. I'm Jack from Cultaholic.com, and this is the captivating career of The Rock. As a promising athlete at the University of Miami, The Rock was part of the 1991 National Championship football team. However, he would eventually be overshadowed at the defensive tackle position by future Pro Football Hall of Famer Warren Sapp. A failed run in the Canadian Football League in '95 spelled the end of his gridiron dreams, and nearly broke and facing an uncertain future, The Rock turned to his father, former WWE Tag Team Champion and longtime NWA title contender Rocky Johnson. He informed his dad of his intent to pursue professional wrestling, but the elder Johnson tried to dissuade his son. However, there was no changing The Rock's mind, and ultimately his father agreed to train him. In March '96, performing under his real name, Rock wrestled the first matches of his career, dark matches at WWE TV tapings. At a Superstars taping, he would defeat the Brooklyn Brawler, while at Raw the following night, he would be defeated by Body Donis Skip, aka Chris Candido. To further season himself inside the ring, Rock then traveled to Jerry Lawler's USWA promotion in Memphis, wrestling under the curious name of Flex Kavana. In this period of accelerated development, Kavana teamed with veteran Bart Sawyer to win the USWA tag team titles on 2 occasions, including one match where Kavana wagered his hair against the belts, which were held at the time by Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. Because as we all know, if there was one thing that was going to kill The Rock's mojo, it would be having no hair. Yes, of course, we've seen how terribly that has since panned out for him. The Rock officially signed with WWE in August '96, wrestling a couple more dark matches, one of which was against Owen Hart in Columbus, Ohio. He will be known as Rocky Maivia, the first name a tribute to his father, and the surname in honor of his grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia. That fall, Rock was announced to be on the Survivor Series team of Mark Mero, which meant that one of Rock's opponents in his televised debut was none other than Triple H. Rock would actually win that match as his team's sole survivor, eliminating Crush and Goldust in quick succession, to a favourable crowd response at the time inside Madison Square Garden. However, vigorous cheers from the fans would prove to be pretty rare around this time, as The Rock's smiling do-gooder routine rang hollow in a time when Stone Cold, ECW, and the New World Order were all breaths of very fresh air. But there The Rock went, wrestling as if he was Jason Jordan's actual father, more akin to saying gosh darn it if things didn't go his way than actually raising any sort of attitude era hell. However, his athletic prowess, sheer size, and obvious energy amounted to clear potential, and WWE pressed onwards with him as a star of tomorrow. And the early push continued without breaking stride as The Rock defeated Triple H for the IC title in February '97. However, this was a clear case of too much too soon, as the fans began jeering Rock more openly, and despite this, his matches and demeanor each remained as basic as a stack of paper plates. He made his WrestleMania debut in Chicago, defeating the Sultan, or his cousin Rikishi, in a match that didn't exactly showcase either man at their optimum potential. But The Rock limped on, looking pretty weak in matches with a newly healed Bret Hart, as well as a countout loss to Savio Vega at the April '97 In Your House event. 8 nights later, Rock dropped the IC title to Owen Hart on an episode of Raw, and his push quickly evaporated. For the next month, Rock wandered aimlessly before suffering a knee injury at a house show match against Mankind. In his 2 months away from the ring, Rock found himself at a career crossroads, as life as a goody two-shoes in WWE wasn't exactly working out for him. Upon returning 2 months later, he received an important break when he turned heel, dropping DOA member Chains with a rock bottom and allowing his new boss Farouk to score the win. Rock justified his defection to the Nation of Domination stable by ridiculing the fans who derided him for months previously, sometimes with even chants of "Die Rocky Die." For the months that followed, Rock joined D'Lo Brown and Cameron Mustafa in helping carry out Farouk's orders. The Rock's subsequent feud with new IC champion Steve Austin acted as the catalyst for bringing out his comedic aloofness, as well as his sudden habit for referring to himself in the third person. It was when Vince McMahon stripped a hardball-playing Austin of the IC title that The Rock quipped, "Vince, The Rock thinks that you should fire him." And with that line, you could argue that Dwayne Johnson's true potential really began to shine through. So began Rock's second reign with the IC title, and here he displayed a much different attitude than before. The ironically named People's Champion began subtly undermining Farouk's leadership with a thin smile and endless self-confidence, while winning over viewers at the same time with his unique turns of phrase. The Rock spent the early part of '98 staving off the challenges of Ken Shamrock, but the real war was at home when, following WrestleMania 14, the IC champ led an explicit mutiny on group leader Farouk, ousting him from the nation. The Rock installed himself as the stable's leader and led the five-man army against D-Generation X throughout the summer. He just about held off Triple H in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the title at Fully Loaded, but was less successful the following month at SummerSlam when his 9-month reign with the title ended in a thrilling ladder match at MSG. But despite the defeat, Rock may have been the match's actual winner, because the crowds inside Madison Square Garden, long held in Vince McMahon's eyes as the barometer of the wider audience, wildly cheered Rocky's exploits during the war. A low-key face turn followed, and The Rock made good on his change of alignment at September's Breakdown pay-per-view, when he faced Shamrock and Mankind in a 3-way cage match. The spot where Rock hit a people's elbow on both opponents drew an ungodly reaction from the crowd in Hamilton, Ontario. It seemed that it was only a matter of time before the top championship came into the grasp of the charismatic 26-year-old. And that day would soon come, but not as a hero. At the '98 Survivor Series, Rock would play a part in a Montreal reprise, applying the sharpshooter to Mankind in the tournament final to determine a new WWE champion. Through this ruse, The Rock was revealed as the centerpiece of Vince McMahon's corporation, the ideal face of the company in opposition to the rougher-edged Stone Cold Steve Austin. The people's elbow became the corporate elbow, as Rock essentially resumed his role as the arrogant and self-serving leader of the nation, only with a different group and on a grander stage. Pushing The Rock to his limit, however, was the man he helped swindle at Survivor Series, Mankind. The beloved brawler scored a long overdue title win that December, putting thousands and thousands of butts in seats when he defeated The Rock to win the gold on Monday Night Raw, with a small assist from Stone Cold Steve Austin. Over the ensuing month and a half, the pair would exchange the title in matches with historic implications. Their battle at the '99 Royal Rumble gained notoriety for Rock nearly caving Mick Foley's skull in with 11 brutal chair shots, while their empty arena match at the halftime of Super Bowl 33 did a TV rating comparable to Raw's War at its very apex. Rock regained the belt from Mankind the following month in a ladder match on Raw, netting him his 3rd world title. By the time WrestleMania 15 rolled around, a lot had changed in 2 years. The man who was once a very basic good guy had since morphed into an iconic supervillain, one that many fans were actually keen to cheer along anyway. He defended the WWE title against Stone Cold in a match that was hardly short on boundless brawling, collateral damage, and dramatic near falls. The hero won the day in the end though, as Austin downed Rock with an emphatic stunner, complete with the handspring dying fish sell of the move that Rock would make famous. The event was, at the time, the most bought WWE pay-per-view in history, a tribute not only to Austin's incredible celebrity, but The Rock's as well. He would lose to Austin in a rematch at Backlash '99, an event that all but coincided with the end of his second heel run. Now a babyface, Rock fought the corporation, as well as The Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness. The summer of '99 saw Rock fail in his bid to wrest the WWE title from Undertaker at King of the Ring, and he would later lose a strap match to Triple H at Fully Loaded. But all was not lost for The Rock, as he would get the honour of shoving Billy Gunn's face into a woman's backside at SummerSlam before putting Mr. Ass away. Don't worry, he'd return to the top of the card soon. The Rock's comedic edge was obvious, but it never overshadowed his confident swagger and deadpan suaveness. These qualities made him a rather charming mismatch for new tag team partner Mankind, whose well-meaning silliness and humble affability contrasted with The Rock's A-list presence. Together, the two became known as the Rock and Sock Connection, and would have just as much success winning matches and titles as they did entertaining crowds with their humorous conflicts. The most remembered one, of course, is the This Is Your Life sketch from September '99 that did an ungodly TV rating, one of the highest quarter hours in the history of Raw. With Austin sidelined long-term after undergoing spinal surgery and Foley preparing for retirement, The Rock had most of the year 2000 to shine as pro wrestling's top star, the undisputed face of the industry. He began the year by winning the Royal Rumble albeit in dubious fashion, whilst ousting Big Show from the ring, but surprisingly fell short in the main event of WrestleMania 2000, allowing Triple H to retain the title. 4 weeks later, however, The Rock would capture the title for the 4th time, defeating Helmsley in a real heart-stopper at Backlash. However, he dropped it back to the game in a 60-minute Iron Man match at Judgment Day because The Undertaker chose the exact worst time to return to the ring. The most electrifying man in sports entertainment began a more proper reign when he pinned Vince McMahon in a 6-man tag for Triple H's belt at the King of the Ring 2000 event. The rules were, it was fine. It was a 6-man tag and Rock could pin anyone and he would win the belt. That's all you need to know. By this time, however, Hollywood had come calling, and The Rock would make his non-wrestling breakthrough as the Scorpion King in 2001's The Mummy Returns. Though not the star of the film, The Rock's presence in it proved so successful that a prequel, The Scorpion King, was released the following year with The Rock in the title role. Soon enough, professional wrestling just wasn't going to be able to hold on to a star of The Rock's caliber and magnitude. Back inside the ring, The Rock dropped the WWE title to Kurt Angle at No Mercy 2000, before regaining it at No Way Out the following year. This set the stage for a showdown at WrestleMania 17, or X7, with respected rival Stone Cold Steve Austin before nearly 68,000 fans inside the Houston Astrodome. The extensive build did wonders in conveying just how much this match meant to either man, and also thanks to Limp Bizkit for doing well in the video package as well, lads. It wasn't just the WWE title at stake, so too it was the right to call themselves the top dog, the top star in a lofty class of 2. Blood was spilled and punishment was doled out for nearly 30 intense minutes, before The Rock finally succumbed to Austin and, of all people, Vince McMahon, with whom he had forged an unthinkable alliance. The Rock returned from filming The Scorpion King in time to insert himself into the WWE Alliance squabble, becoming the unspoken leader of the pack after Austin defected to the invading force. Over the course of the war, The Rock would dispatch WCW champion Booker T and find himself embroiled in conflict with fellow WWE superstar Chris Jericho. The two feuded over the belt in the fall of 2001, but made peace long enough to team up in the WWE vs. Alliance finale at Survivor Series, the winner-take-all match where one side would perish. Despite Y2J's self-indulgent attack on The Rock in the later stages of the match, he still managed to defeat Stone Cold Steve Austin, securing his first ever pinfall over the Rattlesnake. After struggling in the championship scene at the start of 2002, Rock was visited by a ghost of wrestling's past, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. A verbal confrontation between the two led to a challenge being laid down for WrestleMania 18 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. In one of the most memorable matches in Mania history, The Rock fended off both a rejuvenated Hogan and a suddenly hostile crowd at the Sky Dome to win the Clash of Generations. In the aftermath, Rock and Hogan gave respect to one another, and The Rock forgave Hogan for the whole attempted murder thing because, goddammit, that's what sportsmanship's all about. However, this casual disdain towards The Rock would carry forwards, and though he would still be mainly cheered, there were occasions in which the fans decided that maybe he was the heel now. After winning his then record 7th WWE title at July's Vengeance pay-per-view over Undertaker and Kurt Angle, The Rock lost the belt to imposing rookie Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 5 weeks later. The Long Island crowd booed The Rock that night while cheering on the next big thing. After losing, The Rock went away for a few months to film The Rundown, and upon returning early in 2003, he wasn't up for playing nice anymore. No, The Rock had gone Hollywood, adopting a new scornful attitude towards the people, while simultaneously running down WWE's heroes. He again defeated Hogan in a rematch at No Way Out, before embarking on one of the most significant victories of his career. At WrestleMania 19 in Seattle, Washington, The Rock laid Stone Cold to rest with 3 rock bottoms, scoring his first one-on-one pinfall victory over his greatest foe. Austin retired after the loss, and The Rock would soon disappear himself, after being soundly defeated by an incoming Goldberg at Backlash the following month. From there, The Rock would only appear sporadically, popping up in early 2004 to once again team with Mick Foley against Ric Flair, Batista, and Randy Orton at WrestleMania 20. This would actually prove to be Rock's last match for 7.5 years, because aside from a handful of appearances later on that year, we wouldn't see The Rock inside a WWE ring for a long time. He had business to attend to in Hollywood, shooting demons, reforming delinquents, winning football games, and collecting teeth. It wasn't until February 2011 when The Rock showed his face on Monday Night Raw again, leaving the wrestling world in shock. Answering some fighting words from John Cena, The Rock reinserted himself into the WWE domain and agreed to face John Cena in 1 year's time at WrestleMania 28 in Miami, Florida. The two actually teamed up at Survivor Series 2011 at Madison Square Garden, easily handling The Miz and R-Truth before their record-setting showdown the following April. That 30-minute clash ended with The Rock catching a cocky John Cena with a thunderous rock bottom, giving him his first ever win in a WrestleMania main event. 10 months later, he captured his 10th overall world title when he controversially ended CM Punk's 14-month mega reign at the 2013 Royal Rumble. Rock repaid the favor to Cena by dropping him the title at WrestleMania 29, CM Punk, in North Jersey, ending his wrestling career at the industry's peak, if you don't count the Eric Rowan match at WrestleMania 32. And sadly, there's a pretty good chance that we'll never see Dwayne Johnson don the tights and boots again. But even if he doesn't, he packed a ton of greatness into a relatively short career. As a wrestler or as a movie star, there have been few performers that have matched the total presence and aura that The Rock possesses in droves. The Great One isn't a nickname that bestows easily, but for The Rock, you could argue that it still falls short of capturing his complete essence. Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments section down below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter at Cultaholic and on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do, then please do check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Cultaholic, where you can pledge. And don't forget, of course, most importantly of all, to hit subscribe and to join us.